Britain's rental market is at breaking point.
I have 2 children. I'm living in what is like a crack den.
She's just chatting shit, yeah? Straight up.
With not enough homes to go around.
No one should be allowed to live like this. This is unacceptable.
This is our home. This ain't his land.
Soaring rents.
I'm going to have to mortgage my pension to pay this debt off.
Put a hell of a strain on me. You'll have to kill a person.
Oh my God.
Squalid conditions.
I'm gonna have to climb over the settee with my shoes on.
This could be criminal negligence.
Spiralling property fraud.
I'll see you in court.
You guys ain't meant to be here, so we have a problem.
Bedsits to mansions.
Hello, enforcement agent.
Squats to drug farms.
They have been growing cannabis.
This is Nightmare Tenants.
Get your hands off me, dog. No. Do not put your hands on me, right? We're not stand for that.
Slum Landlords.
I once had a house that they were lifting the manhole and sweeping the dog poo out of the yard into it. Oh, gross.
Letting agents Karen O'Connor and Gemma Painter from Lobster Lettings are about to carry out an urgent inspection.
I'm really quite nervous about the state of this property.
A few days ago, their tenant Laura alerted them to a plumbing issue at her 3-bed home.
She reported that both her toilets weren't working. I managed to get a drains company to attend, and then yesterday when we spoke to the drains company, he said that he didn't want to speak out of turn, but he suggested we go round and he'd never step foot in the property again.
Oh my gosh.
Considering he deals with drains all day, every day, the fact that he won't go into the property again is concerning.
That's really worrying. Let's go. Oh, is that seriously a condom?
I think it could be.
That's gross. She's got a dog. 2 dogs. It's not good, is it?
Hello? It smells.
Smells of dog or
I don't know, just poop.
ooh, I can smell that smell from here. It stinks.
Oh, I can see the cat.
She's got a cat as well. Oh, good. I'm gonna have to go in. I need to find out what's causing the problem with these drains. Health and safety issue for a start. There's a bolt on.
They put something there to stop us getting in. There's alarm bells ringing left, right and
Massively.
centre here.
That's really weird.
Unless they're in.
When we're out together, it's safer for both of us.
Someone's here, someone's here.
Oh, good.
We don't know what we're going to find behind the door. We're there to tell them that the property isn't being maintained and kept in the condition that it should be. So those aren't conversations that are going to be welcomed, and we don't know how that tenant's going to respond.
Hello? Hi, all right?
No, I'm not well at all. You just woke me up again.
All right. Are we all right? Just come in. We've sent you a letter.
I haven't seen no letter, but what's it
We
for?
hand-delivered it yesterday.
Don't come through then.
Can you tell what's happened with the drains? What's caused this issue?
Well, we don't know. That's what I'm waiting for you for. I've had no working toilet for nearly a week.
You want to come down?
Yeah, let's have a look.
Her friend Matthew shows them one of the problem toilets.
So what happens when you flush it?
All shitty water comes out the toilet.
Right. Is the toilet fixed upstairs or is it not fixed?
Temporary. We've got to put water down the toilet every time we flush it.
Right, okay. I'm not happy with the condition of this at all.
You can go into some properties and the smell is just horrendous. And I don't even know how to describe it, but this particular property just reeked of filth.
I can smell cat pee in this room.
It's not cat pee, it's the mould. Go and smell it.
I can smell it. I'm smelling it now.
It's mouldy from top to bottom.
It's clear there is serious damp in the basement. Laura is claiming it's because the landlord isn't carrying out essential maintenance.
They've left me without a working toilet for 3 or 4 days before they got someone out. The mould is in the walls, it's all under the flooring. We actually have like mushroom things growing from up on, under the carpet. Why should I spend hundreds of pounds in this living room to do all of the redecorating and all recarpets for it just all getting mouldy again? They're not bothered, why should I be?
Laura has been living here 3 years, but it's the first time Karen and Gemma have heard about the issues, and they're not convinced this is all the landlord's fault.
You're not using the dehumidifier?
They've stopped working again because they just keep filling up, I empty them, and it cuts off for a bit because they can't take how much damp there is in the house.
The problem is there's so much clutter. I mean, your dog's just peed on the floor. Literally just in front of me, just peed on the floor.
Get upstairs! Please go back upstairs and remove
I have to do the inspection,
No,
I'm
you
sorry.
were coming to look at the drains.
I was coming to do the inspection. You had a hand-delivered letter telling
it's
you
not long
yesterday.
enough.
It's 24 hours notice. Look at the state of the wood on the stairs.
All of it is being repeated. They've had to pull this to see what's underneath.
You're not
And it's
listening.
dust
I'm not
underneath.
talking about the carpet. I'm talking about the damage to the wood that your
All
dog's
of
bitten.
it is being done. I need you to leave, please.
Legally, we're entitled to be here to do our
I'm
inspection.
sorry, I'll
You're
leave before I
damaging the
ring.
property.
As long as it's done before I leave, it does not matter to you.
It does matter
No, it
because
doesn't.
it's getting worse.
Getting worse.
Can I just
It's
go
nothing
upstairs
to do.
and look at
No,
the
thank you.
toilet?
No. This is ridiculous. Get out. I don't need this shit. Get out.
I just want to have a look at
And
your
I've said
toilet
no,
so I can
have
get it
said
sorted
no.
out.
Can you please leave?
Right, so
No.
we can't fix the issue if you don't
I don't
allow
care,
us to.
leave. Should
I'll
have
just take the
somebody
pictures
with
then of the
support.
damage.
Get out the fucking house, take the phone off you, get out the fucking house.
Excuse me.
Get out the house.
No,
You pays
no.
550
Sorry.
quid a month, you
Doesn't have the
cheap
You've
type.
got no right to throw us out.
Laura, get them out before they throw it out.
Why didn't you go
Why are you
upstairs?
being
You're
so
not really
aggressive and
allowed.
violent?
Look at the way you're being to it.
We need to see what the
Leave.
problem is in order to
It's
get the
downstairs.
relevant person.
Get
Problem.
out, Karen. Now.
Right, okay. We'll come back.
Well, don't bother.
I legally have entitlement to come here and inspect.
You do not
We've
need
given
to
you
well,
notice.
please, can you not bring her? I do not want her in this property. Sorry.
It's a very difficult industry that we work in. Tenants tend to use aggression as a form of defence. When they know that they're doing something wrong, they will try and intimidate you so that you back off.
That's how the house was. It was pristine. It's now wrecked. It's going to be heartbreaking for the landlord. They're going to have to spend thousands on getting this property to the condition that it once was. And it's not fair, it's not right, it's shocking. I'm going to be recommending to the landlord that we serve notice and evict because the property is being damaged. She's literally just forced us to leave despite us having legal rights to be there to do the inspection. Her own dog peed on the floor in front of me. It's just horrendous. We need to make her leave.
Nowhere in Britain is the rental market more stretched than London. With high rents and high demand, fraudsters are using elaborate scams to target both small landlords and tenants. Landlord Juliet Elderton is evicting the tenants who live in her property, although she doesn't actually know who they are.
Today is D-Day of a 2-year process.
8 years ago, she inherited the 2-bedroom flat from her late brother.
From the onset, I had major problems with late rents, and then after a year, they decided to stop paying the rent completely.
It's taken Juliet so long because the case is far from straightforward. She originally signed up with an estate agent who subcontracted it on to another company, who took what's called a company-let, meaning they would, in theory, put their own employees in the flat.
But nobody thinks about what I've been through emotionally, financially. They owe me £10,000. Had to pay £6,000 in lawyers' fees.
This company broke their tenancy agreement and handed the contract on to yet another letting agent who put in their own tenants. And Juliet has not been passed on the rent.
It transpired that they were subletting. I think at one stage there were 6 or 7 people living in the flat, in the 2-bed flat. People think that just because I'm a landlord, I'm a heartless bitch, and I'm not.
Juliet is meeting Paul Champliner from Landlord Action, who's been working on this complicated case.
Juliet, good morning.
Hello there. A part of me was nervous, apprehensive, but then another part of me was feeling empowered because I had the support behind me.
Leading the eviction is High Court Enforcement Officer Scott Hines.
We don't know if they speak English or if there's children or anything like that. Okay.
We don't know a lot, unfortunately, but we do know she's 10 grand out of pocket. How these subletting scams work is they will try and make out they're a legitimate company. Once they get the property, they're supposed to pay the rent to the landlord. A lot of the time they don't pay the rent. And then they will sublet the rooms and maximise as much money as possible over a long, lengthy period.
There's the window open there. Steam coming out of there. There must be someone in there. Hello. Oh, hello there. Hi there.
Right, my name's Mr. Hines, a bailiff. That's my ID. This is a High Court writ of possession, which means that you shouldn't be here any longer and you have to leave.
Be in this house?
Yes.
Why?
Let me come in and speak to you, sir.
We knocked on the door. Fortunately, somebody answered, who was quite shocked to see us, in fact.
How many of you living here?
Me, my dad and my mum.
Right.
Where is your mum and dad?
Your mum and dad here?
Yeah.
They're walking out.
All right.
Give them a call for me.
Yeah, good.
Both of them don't speak English.
Transpired that all the letters that were sent to that property were unopened, so our arrival was unexpected.
And the possession's been given from County Court and now the High Court. Whoever lives here now shouldn't be here. They haven't paid any rent and they have to leave.
The family living at the property pay their rent not to the company Juliet signed her agreement with, but to another company who may also be victims of the scam.
The first time that I spoke to the owner, she told me that she had created a 6-month contract and she had paid up front and there was no way that she was going to leave the property.
While they wait for the boy's parents to turn up, Paul decides to give the owner a call.
Hi, my name is Paul from Landlord Action. I'm with my landlord, Juliet Elderton. You've been subletting the property. So we're now taking possession of the property and we're changing the locks. The landlords owe £10,000 plus legal fees. Yeah, I know, but the problem is she has an agreement with them, the actual limited company. They haven't been paying any money. The subtenants here are not her tenants.
Hello there. And I've told you already that that I wanted you out and you wouldn't leave because you told me I had to take you to court. Okay, so
you have done that.
I've done everything, and now I'm back here like as if it's unusual. I told you that I was the landlord and this is my property, and I've gone, so I can't wait any longer now.
We're taking possession now.
I'm taking possession of the property this morning, okay? I've given you 5 months to sort this out, right? Okay, I can't help you any longer because I've gone through the right channels, okay?
We're taking possession now. We have to. She might want to speak to the subtenants.
Right, here's the
boy.
tenant.
Yeah, the subtenant here.
I'm a complete mug. This is ridiculous. She's been told 5 months ago that I'm in a situation where we're in a complete scam.
Yeah.
And she's talking like as if it's new news.
Just layer and layer and layer of scams. Everyone pleads dumb insolence, okay? And the one that loses that is the landlord and the subtenants. When you turn up early in the morning, you know, you just think, well, we paid our money. And this is the reality of rising rents in London.
Right.
You know what I mean? All right, what did she say to you?
She said that she was paying the company, but the company wasn't paying you guys.
You know, how much are you guys paying the people?
Paying for the house?
Yeah. How much do you pay a month?
That's around £1,000, 560.
1560.
Yeah.
1560. And you're supposed to be getting £1,100 a month.
While Juliet is over 10 grand out of pocket, the sub-tenants are just hours away from being made homeless. It looks like they're both victims.
Is that company going to sort you out and get you another place? You need to start screaming and shouting at them. She's taking a piss. What happens is, you have a landlord that's a victim that never gets past his rent, and you get subtenants that are paying their rent on time, working hard, can't afford to save, paying it to a subletting company, and they're having to be evicted because they know nothing about it.
I mean, it's just nuts, isn't it? If people say something to me, I expect it to be true. That's what I have. That's the way I work. I conduct my life.
As the locks are changed, the boy's mum...
Hello. I know it must be a surprise for you.
...and dad arrive home.
OK, I'll speak to your son, and you can translate, yeah?
And they're not keen on leaving.
Imagine if you put everything out like you guys want to, right? And then the girl doesn't answer him anymore. Like, we will be fucked.
Oh, yeah,
No, understand. Yeah.
So he's not worried about your stuff, you're worried about where you're going to sleep tonight, aren't you?
A part of me felt bad that, you know, they were being evicted because they didn't realise what was going on. But then I had to be forthright and just stick to my guns.
I'm going to be blunt. There isn't anyone's problem here apart from yours. So you're not staying here.
You can't stay here.
Okay. Yeah, but, so we need to get to the bottom of this, and we need to be blunt. Okay.
They left work.
No, I understand. It's stressful. I totally understand. Tell your dad. We feel very, very sorry for you and your family.
We're just gonna need to go and sleep on the streets tonight.
No, you can't sleep. You might have to go to a hotel or whatever.
Não fala nada, pô. Não fala nada. Se não for o que eu queira, eu quero saber o que está acontecendo.
We knew this was going to happen. The people that are earning the money are these subletting companies. They don't care. They're messing about people's lives.
Não understand. A lei, a ordem.
Let's go. Let's just come on.
I understand, my friend.
You're not staying here. This is always going to happen.
No, I know.
Okay? He's not a dog to be doing
No. Right, well,
listen, everyone needs to be quiet and let me explain, okay? So you explain to your dad.
This is the woman. Look, this one.
Eu não understand, my friend. Sorry, man.
You're not staying.
No, you can't stay.
No,
I understand, my friend.
Tell your dad he's not staying here.
You understand?
Father, he was very upset and frustrated.
Nearly 3 hours into the eviction, Scott gives the tenants just 1 more hour to leave.
It's never nice doing this, you know, it's not nice doing this. This is the last resort.
I think the tenants are reacting very well. I would not be reacting like this. I'd be effing and blinding. I think they're very respectful people.
Tenants can really be taken advantage of, especially if you've got tenants that are moving over. They really don't understand the laws. There's a language barrier.
She's gonna pull me and my parents to live in another house that she has.
Yeah, good.
Remarkably, the letting agent had organised a van and a place for them to move to. So that was good because, of course, they could have been homeless. They could have been on the street. Pull this out here for you, yeah?
Thanks.
After 4 months of legal battles and 10 months without rent, the subtenants are gone and Juliet finally has her property back.
Five and a half hours later, yeah, to be precise.
I think that's pretty good going, don't you?
It's the longest eviction I've done for any.
It's been doing a long time.
You thought that was a slow one?
Yeah, it's very slow.
It was very slow.
Really?
We got there in the end, didn't we?
If you look back at what happened, Juliet went with a company on a company let, and they turned out to be fraudsters, you know, and she's the best part out of pocket 14, 15 grand with legal fees. She'd never ever see that money again.
I'm very naive and I'm very trustworthy. I'm a bit of a soft touch, but I'm very lucky. Got the property back and 3 days later, I've now got new tenants. Couldn't have expected a better outcome.
Letting agents Karen and Gemma are returning to the property where 2 months ago an emergency inspection turned sour.
Yeah, you're not allowed to go round again.
I'm not allowed.
No, I am, but you're not.
You're okay.
Since then, the tenant Laura has stopped paying her rent and is now £1,100 in arrears.
It would be nice if just one time the tenant turned around and said, you know what, I was out of order. You were right, and this is what I've done to put things right. Oh, and here's my rent. It's
Oh,
like,
look at that.
you know,
It's a flying pig.
Flying pig. More chance of that happening. More chance. I'm not going to go in because she was so angry at me last time for telling her how it is. She told me I'm not welcome to come back again, so I don't want to antagonise the situation.
Yeah.
Gemma wants to complete the inspection so she can work out how much of the disrepair is down to the tenant's negligence and is her responsibility, and in turn, what needs to be fixed by the landlord.
A good tenant treats their house like their home, pays the rent on time, reports maintenance properly. But the average tenant is nothing like that. Hiya. You all right? Right, let me come and have a look then.
It's all like damp.
It's actually wet through that.
Yeah, I don't know what it is, to be honest.
We'll get someone to come and have a look underneath. It's definitely wet through, my knees are wet.
All right.
Sometimes tenants don't necessarily think to report maintenance issues unless it's affecting them. So if the oven breaks, for example, they'll report it straight away. Mould and damp spots, they won't report that until it becomes a big problem.
Right, so do you want to stay?
I don't want to end up with nowhere to live.
Right.
So,
Landlady's just concerned because you'd promised to do the carpet, and then the carpet wasn't done and now you've not paid your rent.
I asked for permission to decorate all the house, but I haven't got the money to keep paying out when the house is falling apart around me. I might as well not bother. You know what I mean?
If we can get the issues sorted downstairs, what time frame do you think you'd be able to get flooring done?
It'll all depend on once everything else is done.
Gemma agrees to fix the damp issues. In return, Laura will need to fix the carpet and any other damage. But there's still the matter of unpaid rent.
When do you think you're going to have the arrears paid off by?
By the end of next week.
In full?
In full.
All right, okay.
I don't necessarily want to live in these conditions, but I can't end up with nowhere when I haven't got anyone to turn to. Do you know what I mean?
From our point of view, if we can get these jobs done, this is paid off.
Yep.
In an ideal world, would you want to stay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Despite their agreement, Gemma serves the tenant with a formal eviction notice, which means if Laura doesn't keep to her word, she faces losing her home.
I'll have to give you this anyway.
Yep.
That's the notice based on the arrears, which hopefully be out of anyway. Thank you for letting me in.
No problem.
We're not in the habit of evicting tenants. All right, thank you. We will do our best to make sure that they can stay in the property.
How was that?
She was a lot more calm than she was last time. Downstairs, there is a lot of water on the floor. I've knelt in it, so I will soon ascertain if it's dog pee or not, because it'll smell.
Oh, no.
She says she's going to repay the arrears in full.
Right.
And the month's rent.
OK. Did you serve the notice anyway?
Yes.
Great. Yeah, that's a good result then.
Despite striking a deal on the repairs and the unpaid rent, Laura fails to keep her side of the bargain. 1 month later, she is 3 months in rent arrears and hasn't addressed any of the repairs. Karen and Gemma are having her evicted. Letting agent Paul Ainsworth Lord has had a tip-off that one of his tenants has done a runner.
One of my colleagues in the office thinks she's took all her stuff out of this place. So, I'm going to have a peek through the window and see if there's any signs of life.
Paul let the commercial property 18 months ago. The tenant, Michelle, runs a wedding business, Love Rosie, but has got seriously behind with the rent.
Her rent arrears now, they're a ridiculous amount, £3.5 grand. But she was supposed to bring it all up to date, you know, a few days ago, and hasn't done. It's what you call taking the mick.
With the tenant refusing to answer his calls, Paul wants to check on the state of the property himself.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that doesn't look good at all. Looks like she's in the middle of a flit. Doesn't give me a good feeling when I can see cans of cider knocking about. The right bloody mess. Oh. Not a lot happening. Yeah, I really don't like the feeling I'm getting. In time for the party. This lady rents this premises to store equipment that she uses on wedding events. So they've got a lot of weddings on, or she's done a flit. My gut's telling me it's the latter. I don't like it. Got somebody renting a place who's not using it and not paying rent. It's not a good mix. There seems to be a bit of a damp problem here. The type of lease that we've got on this property is a fully repairing lease. All the maintenance issues are the responsibility of the tenant. I need to be asking her what she's doing about this.
The tenant signed a 10-year lease and was given a rent-free period in return for fixing up the property and maintaining it.
In a nutshell, you take it as it is, you make it good, keep it good, and you keep it in good repair. To think that she can ignore us and the problem will go away is absolutely ludicrous, because by ignoring us, the problem gets bigger. I need to change the tone of the conversation with this tenant. A bit of door knocking springs to mind. When you've got a residential tenant in arrears, you're thinking, oh my God, this is going to be tricky. I need to make sure all my ducks are in a row. With commercial, it's gloves off, boxing match starts. It's dead easy. Rent's due, send the bailiffs. You don't necessarily need to go to the courts. You can just send the bailiffs. And the bailiffs will go and collect. Love Rosie. Well, I'd just love Rosie to pay her rent. I thought, how can you think you're going to get away with this?
10 days have passed, and still there's no word from the tenant, or any sign of the missing rent. So Paul decides to try and track her down.
Enough's enough. She's ignoring us, she won't come to us, so I'm going to go to her house, see if we can get the payment. There was nobody home, or at least she never answered the door. I think she'll get a shock when this is delivered under the door when she comes home tonight. It was a bit frustrating, but I'd allocated a day to track her down. I had time on my hands. When I'm on a mission, I'm on a mission. Next port of call, she's got a florist. Chances are she'll be there. Doesn't look like there's anybody home. She's got some nice roses there, some nice big roses. Oh, that's disappointing. Oh, it's middle of the afternoon. Why is she not open? You can't sell flowers when you're shut, can you?
Paul has another idea up his sleeve.
Every property we rent, the tenant must have a guarantor, and this property was no different. You can't go into hiding and think that's it, you're off the hook, because you're dropping your guarantor right in it.
Before he speaks to them, Paul wants to try reaching the tenant one last time.
Yeah, straight to voicemail again. Hi Michelle, it's Paul from Ainsworth Lord Estates. I'm just outside your guarantor's house now, and I was hoping to speak to you before I had to knock at the door. I'm willing to work with you to sort this out, but I need you to stop avoiding us. Can you give me a ring back as soon as you get this message? Thanks, Michelle. Bye. She's been really silly. I mean, I've looked at her other shop. Nice little setup. It looks nice and bonny inside. It looks like there's good business going on. She could potentially lose all that. If this goes the way it could do, you know, it'll be straight in the courts. No doubt we'll get judgment. Then there'll be High Court bailiffs tipping up, taking all your stuff. You know, she'll have a business one minute, and the next minute she won't have one. Sad day, really, for the guarantor. Don't like it one bit. Hi, can I have a word with you?
Yeah.
Basically, you know Michelle. Wait, she's totally avoiding us. Thing is, the numbers are getting big.
Is this the shop that she's come out of? She's took all the stuff out of it. As far as I'm aware, she paid up to that.
Well, this is the truth, and this is the reality. As far as we are concerned, the lease is still valid, and the rent clock is ticking.
I don't think I signed anything.
Yeah, well, that's your signature there.
Where? That is not my signature, that. I'm telling you now, that's not. I just want to get my passport. I'm not going to do it, but I can't get that back anyway.
Yeah.
I won't be said.
Well, this is taking a bit of a turn. He's trying to say that's not my signature. Now, if that is the case, then somebody's forged her signature, then this becomes a police matter and it's a fraud. It's an excuse we hear often, you know. It's one that guarantors like to chuck in the ring, you know. I never signed nothing, but most of the time they're telling lies.
The guarantor returns with her passport to prove it's not her signature on the lease.
I've got my bank card. I have not signed that paperwork.
So this becomes a police matter because this is fraud. What's your relationship with Michelle?
She's my mate, best friend.
She's your best friend?
Yeah.
If your best friend has forged your signature, she's committed an offence. This becomes a big mess. So are you going to help me with getting the money off Michelle?
What do you want me to do? You go and rob her? Safe to say I am not flipping signing that.
What about ringing Michelle then? See what she has to say.
I've got that guy at the door.
I haven't signed this paperwork, and what they're saying is that obviously they need to recover this money. Yeah. Michelle's telling me to tell you to ring her. She's able to speak to you now.
Okay.
Right, okay. I'll get him to ring you. She's clarifying to me that I've not signed it. Thank you.
All right,
no
love.
problem.
Speak to you again. See ya. I was not expecting that at all. But this Michelle, she's a slippery bar of soap. And I'm gonna grip it. Not good.
Paul is chasing the missing rent on a commercial property rented by a wedding business. Finally, he reaches the tenant, Michelle.
Hello?
Hi, Michelle, it's Paul. You spoke to your guarantor, haven't you?
Yes, she didn't sign it. I signed it. I will accept whatever goes wrong for that.
So what you're telling me is you've committed fraud.
Probably, yes.
If what you're saying is true, there's no probably about it, Michelle. This becomes a criminal matter now.
It's fine. I'll take responsibility for that.
What do you mean it's fine? You've obtained a property by deception. This is serious stuff. I don't know if this sort of thing carries a custodial sentence, but I wouldn't be surprised if it did.
So what's your sent me down the phone?
What do you mean, relationship? You're telling me you've committed fraud, obtained a property by deception, forged a load of signatures, and I'm supposed to be nice and calm? What planet are you from? I've got a debt here that I'm trying to recover, $3,500.
I'm quite happy to pay the arrears back. I don't want to...
You've got a $3,500 debt here, Michelle, and I need the money. You're taking the mick. First class taking the mick. I ought to be ringing the cops and having you arrested. Do you know how serious this is? You potentially stand to lose everything you've worked for.
I know.
I need payment of you tonight.
Well, I haven't got £3,500 sent you in one go. I have to try and find somebody else.
Yeah.
So I'll get back to you tomorrow.
9 o'clock.
Okay, thank you.
I've never had a situation where they've admitted to signing all the signatures. Never had that before. Blurted this out without realising the seriousness of what she's saying. Taking frigging piss. I've never known so much bloody audacity in my life. Just bringing it down, please. Thanks.
2 days later, the tenant agrees to come into the office to discuss the arrears.
So I'm just waiting for the tenant from the shop to come in. She's got an appointment at 10:30 to discuss her arrears, and she's promised to make a payment. So fingers crossed, all being well, she'll tip up today. What we're dealing with now is a forgery, or somebody who's deceptive.
Yeah.
Somebody perhaps who can't be trusted. Michelle, this is a right mess, a right pickle, and I don't know if you realise the seriousness. This could completely ruin your life and your future. She didn't seem to be bothered in the slightest that what she was admitting to was fraudulent. She didn't seem to care. She was happy to take the wrath.
Michelle claims she didn't realise that she would be responsible for carrying out any maintenance work.
The lease you've got, all the maintenance and jobs and everything are down to you. There was no stipulation that the landlord would make anything good. You read through your lease and you signed it, and that's it.
Michelle wants to know, how can she escape a 10-year lease?
It's no good running away. All you have to do is say to us, look, I want to come out. You instruct us to find a replacement tenant for you. When they start paying, you're off the hook.
She comes up with another option. She dissolves her company, and the landlord gets nothing.
She was trying to get me over a barrel, trying to blackmail me, if you like. Grasp me up and you'll get out. Let's not be under any illusion. This landlord you've got is quite litigious. He will just sue until the end. And I think in this case, he would force for prosecution on the counts of fraud.
Michelle reluctantly agrees to set up a payment plan, paying the £600 rent and £200 extra towards the arrears, and instructing Paul to find a new tenant.
Can we stick to that kind of arrangement? If you can do that, it just keeps everyone happy, and there's none of this having to report it to police. I wouldn't want to do that to somebody without good reason. Right, I'm glad you came in. Main thing, I got some money off her, so that's progress.
She showed no remorse. She knew you'd been trying to get hold of her. She then went on to say, if you pursue this, I will wind my business up and you'll get nothing.
Well, she was
now, what
mistaken.
sort of person?
Yeah. Her perception of what's going on here is skewed. She's got no idea the seriousness of the mess she's in. And it's down to us whether we report this to the police and the landlord prosecutes.
In the end, Paul and the landlord decide not to report the tenant to the police. Instead, they've taken back control of the property and are searching for a new tenant.
She's stuck to her payments so far, and she's cleared the property. I'll be pleased when we get a new tenant in her place, and we can put it to bed as history.
They are everywhere.
Next time,
Bed bugs in there.
a tenant under attack.
You can see the bugs crawling on them in this thing.
My concern is, you guys ain't meant to be here.
A letting agent investigates a potential subletting scam.
Who was it that said you could live here? Allah. Allah, the landlord?
Yeah, not the landlord, the tenant.
No, he's not the landlord, he's a tenant.
We don't want to speak to you.
Well, we've given you no...
And a tenant with something to hide.
It stinks of weed.
There's a bag full.
Oh, is there?
Yeah.